Hey, Love Squad. Okay, so they definitely came for the Emmy. I mean, they came for it. They were not playing any games. And I said Emmy. No, I mean Emmys, as in plural, as in all of them. As in, if they don't get no Emmy just off of this episode alone, uh, we gonna have to boycott. I know I am not alone when I say that this was the best, the best episode of the series, of the season thus far. I was just like in awe, absolutely in awe. Let's do the introduction. We have to do the introduction. I am Kim, aka Glam Powered. You can find me on IG at Glam Powered, and this is Fandom, and I am doing the reaction and prediction to Lovecraft Country. We are doing episode 5, A Strange Case. Okay, shout out to Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Yeah, they referenced that in the book, but they didn't do it in the series, which I found really interesting because that was like the parallel book. You know how they do books. That was a parallel book in the book. They forgot to do that, but it was so much stuff going on. Like who can blame them? But yeah, if you already know what happened, do you already know that Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is like a perfect kind of backdrop, kind of little like, okay, yeah, I get where they're going with this. But anyways, you know I have to go over my little standard little format for folks who don't know. So let me talk to y'all about how my notes and stuff are organized, just so you have an understanding of what's going on. So I have people, okay, and I started off doing people a little different. This is going to be an episode where I do some commentary a little bit on the people, but I mean we're past the introduction state more or less. We do have a new character coming, Miss South Korea. I've been calling her this whole time. Now we know her name is Jia, and you know what? Miss South Korea is not in the book. Like, I was really like trying to remember, and because I'm actively listening to the book, I done made it almost like I got like 30 minutes left in this book. She ain't in the book, y'all. So that's a little thing right there. So Miss South Korea. But anyways, we have people where I talk about the people, I introduce them, I critique them, I talk about their names. I've been doing name explaining, or I was. We kind of pass all that now. But anyways, that's that. Context: who, what, where, when, why, how. Very important. Concepts. Oh God, I can't wait to get to the concepts for this episode. Favorite scene: I had like 10 of them in this episode. Prediction, questions, and then little tidbits, which is like little factoids and analysis. All right. Let me just go back up. I got my notes a little crazy on my end. Let me just go back up. Oh, what was I gonna say too? So I had announced that I was gonna be doing a podcast. I lied. I do not have time to be doing no podcast. I was like, no, don't play yourself. What I am doing is initial reactions videos. So I did start that, and I did one for this episode. So be checking for those, okay? Because those are like, yeah, that's a thing that's actually happening and that I can actually follow through with. Anyways, let me get to the commentary and all that good stuff. Let's get to it. So first we have people. And you know what? This people commentary was more about like what we found out about people in this episode, because we found out a lot. I was just like, dang, they was letting you know all of the tidbits, most of them. I mean, a lot of stuff like that we kind of suspected, or, you know, there were whisperings of, etc. we found out about, right? So, but one thing I did not know was Will. I I call Will the scholarly thug, Because he was a scholar. Who knew? I didn't know he was a scholar, and he was more of a like a scientific scholar. But then he found out about the magics, and he was like, "Oh, this is actually this works for what I want to do, etc." And so then he started to become a magician and all that stuff, more or less. But I didn't know that. So he was an upstanding scholarly citizen, and then he became a thug. And then he became something else that we find out about in the episode. If you didn't watch the episode, spoiler alert, let me tell you something. If you don't want to know what happened in this episode, don't listen to this to after, okay? To get like my little nuggets and extra bits. Because the episode is about to be spoiled. I promise you. So anyways, then we have Ruby, who, as far as I'm concerned, Ruby gets the Baddie Award. Period. Oh my God. Woo! Ruby. And in the book, this was actually my favorite story or scene in the book was this scene. I should say this episode. But wow. I mean, the writers of the series took that and turned it into something else that is, I have yet to see this level of taking a book and morphing it into greater greatness. I have never seen this before. Usually you do good if you just stick to the story. And I mean, sometimes, and they made some major deviations, you guys. Sometimes like writers don't even know how to do that. And I understand you have creative license and whatever, it's up to interpretation. They are doing not only a good job, but an excellent job with this series. Oh my God, like cross-eyed. Like I'm just like, oh, it is so great. So we have that. At the end, we hear Miss South Korea talking to Tick, and Tick is looking all kind of twisted and nutted up again. That woman evokes strong emotions from him. Child, like what is happening? We gonna find out in the next episode though, based on them previews. She coming, and she is a what? Because what I want to know what she is. If you know what she is, let me know. But I had to think to myself, don't nobody really know what she is because she's not in the book. They wrote her into this story. So I was like, wait, who is she? But if you're familiar with Lovecraftian monsters, like let us know. My episodes be out like the day before the new episode, so we'll see. But anyways, still, let us know, because I'm curious. I'm sure she's Lovecraftian or Lovecraft inspired. She has to be. But like, what is she? Okay, so then there's that Tick, who I nicknamed Tick Tick Boom Boom because of the boom boom to his father. And it is what it is. I'm not loyal like that either to family. I'm not. I love my family. My family loves me back. We not perfect. But I mean, it is what it is. And that Montrose is a very difficult character to deal with. Very difficult character. And I have talked about him myself in the past in terms of just understanding. And actually, after listening to the book, oh my God, I have such an appreciation for his character. I'm not saying that I like the character, but you guys, the character is amazing. And he's a beautiful character. And Michael K. Williams is playing the hell out of this. He better get an award for this shit. He better get an award for this. I just cursed. I forgot to edit myself. He better get an award. He better get an award. All of them are doing an excellent job, but that man better get an award. Because let me tell you something. It's very difficult to play this type of character, but also I would add to that it's very difficult to play this type of character that so many Black people know. Why I'm single right now. It's been strange for me coming back a year. I've been back in this country. I'm in America, if y'all can't tell. for a year, and I've been looking around and just feeling with my feelings and my empathy, and, my empathic abilities, and I'm like, it's a lot of that energy to work through, and I'm not here for it. So I get him. I understand. He's all around me. Is what I'm trying to say. Like, I am in a neighborhood with him. God bless all of these men. Like all of them. They've been through so much, and they want so much for their children, for their progeny, and it's just really hard. It's so hard. So I get it. I get it. But yeah. Oh man, his character this episode, Machos. Okay, Machos. So there's that. And then, okay, going back to Will, who we now know is Christina, which is low key in alignment with the book. Because, if you read the book, then I'll talk about that. So, I probably already spilled those beans, but, anyways, Will is Christina. I did not see that or feel that coming. I'd been looking at other reviews this time around. This was my first time actually looking at other people's reviews. And a lot of people suspected that. Honestly, that was the one thing I didn't predict. And I've been making some predictions. No, I just thought they were two separate people. So yeah, that was interesting, but it makes sense. And then shout out to the ballroom queens. I mean, ballroom culture is everything. If you don't watch Pose, watch Pose. Okay, like, get it. I loved it. I loved how they're being very conscious and very millennial-esque about the series and inclusive. I have my cousin. He had made fun of me because one day he said, "You sound so much like a millennial." I had said something that was like super conscious and like inclusive one time. I forgot what I said. It was something about folks from an older generation. There I am choosing my words respectfully and kindly. Again, I'm not gonna say old people, but he wanted me to say that, but I'm like, no. I mean, we're not doing that. So anyway, I just want to say, like, the care that's taken, even though we're dealing with some messy stuff, like the care that's being taken by the creators of the show and the writers, it's still there. The thoughtfulness is still there. And I know that not everyone agrees and people have their opinions about stuff, but they're doing the best they can in this world where nobody agrees about anything anyways. They're doing an amazing job. So that's people. So, I mean, context. Oh my God. I mean, let's just go down the list. Okay. So Ruby wakes up, right? And Ruby is now the sheriff from Artem. And, which means she's no longer black. And then we have to like go through this whole experience of Ruby being in a white woman's body and being freaked out, but then totally realizing that, oh, this ain't so bad because I got privilege. So then, that was a scene. That was my favorite from the book, you guys. Hands down. Like, I love the way it was written in the book too. It was just like, oh, I mean, that's magic. It is. That's magic. So we get that. I mean, this was Ruby's episode, by the way, because even the intro, it was her. It's about her metamorphosis, and Will alludes to that. And the spell is a metamorphosis spell. And they're using they have butterflies going on in the design for the introduction of this with Ruby's beautiful outline and all that good stuff going on. So yeah, she finds out that magic is real also, and she's like, oh. And I would be honest, like, she wasn't even really tripping off of that. She was just like, I was more scared about waking up a white woman than I was about the fact that it was magic. Like, that was her reaction. It was funny. I was like, well, okay. I mean, I guess. That was her reaction. So that's going on. And then we also have Tick beating Montrose to near death. Near death. He almost killed that man because he knew immediately what he did to Yahima and what he did to the pages that they just went through all of this to get. Montrose letting his pain lead him. And I mean, that just triggered. He scared Poe Letty to death. Letty was like, Letty pulled out that badge. She was like, I don't know you. I don't know who this is, but I'm scared. But they made up and they had one of the most beautiful love scenes. Oh my gosh. That love scene was amazing. It was beautiful. I wish they would give them just a little bit more time, but it was beautiful. It was a lot more sensual and just a lot more beautiful and mature than the first episode. I mean, the first love scene that they had, which honestly was low-key true to life. First times, I pray for these next generations. Like, parents, have your kids think these things through. Like, we don't have to keep repeating these patterns. Have your kids think these things through. Plan this. Help them. Don't be embarrassed. Talk to them about these things. It's special. Like, have it be special. Anyways, so there was that. And then what else? I mean, so much happened. Montrose comes out, properly. We find out, first of all, that he is in fact dating the barman, the owner of the bar. And then we find out that the owner of the bar is a queen. And I'm like, yes. And his friends are queens. And they're having a ball. And it's fabulous. And I'm here for all of it. Shout out. We find out about that. They also shot, what did they shoot? Oh, the bar owner was living in, I think they demolished these projects, but the famous or famed Cabrini Green projects. So he was living there. And we got to see that as Montrose was going over there because Tick had nearly killed him and he looked like he got killed. And, he had to go see his honey to get some loving, and we'll get to that part. But, and get some comfort and, get comfort the way he knows how to get it. But I just have to say, I'm so happy that man, we also see him get some joy and experience joy for the first time, probably in his life, probably in that man's whole miserable life. Can you imagine? You would be the way Montrose is too if your whole life had been the way that his had been. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't think I need to even elaborate on that. Just imagine his life, and then you'll understand why he is the way he is. Okay? Same thing for Ruby. I didn't flinch when we saw the stiletto rape scene. I was just like, yep, I didn't flinch. And I know for a lot of people that scene was shocking. It was definitely, oh my God, that was some good. They better give them the Emmys, all the Emmys. They better give them all the Emmys. But I was just like, yep. It wasn't that big of a deal. And I want to speak to that a little bit because, let me look her up out of respect. Let me look her up, her name. So I was watching an interview with the actress who plays Ruby. Okay. Girl, I need to know how to say your name properly. I don't like to disrespect people like that. Is it Wunmi Masaku? I might be saying that wrong, and I respect. You are playing the hell out of this character. But I'm going to say something that might be a little controversial, but it is what it is. I'm saying this from the perspective of a Black person who has lived overseas and experienced the diaspora in many ways, in many shades, shapes, and hues. And I mean the Black diaspora in terms of Black folks in Europe, Black folks from Latin America, even Black folks in Asia, which I know you're like, huh? Yeah, you heard me right. So let me say that Black folks in America tend to have more of the rage because American racism is a very special breed of hatred. And she said in her interviews that she had to dig deep for what was there. I don't have to dig deep for that. It's not something that I have to dig deep for. It's not. And I'm not saying that every Black American woman has that level of rage in her or can just bring it out, but I don't. And I know that I'm not the only one. So I thought that that was really interesting. But her accent, I'm guessing she's British. I'm going to make that assumption. And I understood why. She was like, it was something that she had to search for a bit because she had never really, yeah, not me. I just wanted to say that. Not me. And that episode, I mean, that scene also reminded me of there was like an episode in the Black Lady sketch show, Invisible Woman. That whole bit was like the passive aggressive version of just like, I'm here. I'm here. And she talks about being interrupted. It's like the same. It's just like, you're invisible. And you know what? It's crazy because I'm getting emotional. Even Michelle Obama in her podcast, I listened to her podcast. She talked about being the first lady, honey, when she was the first lady. We're not talking about Michelle Obama prior to that. We're talking about her as the first lady, FLOTUS. She's, with her darling daughters and her friend and like their daughters, they had all come from soccer. They had just played a game or whatever. And, she's having a day of semi-normal life as a first lady, right? So she's trying to go to the ice cream shop with her kids and her friend and their kids. And guess what happens? An unconscious white woman just skips them in line and almost receives service. Doesn't even know that she just disrespected the first lady of the United States. But that whole thing about being ignored and not even being acknowledged and recognized. And then you just have to keep that stuff pent up inside of you. Because she did talk about that. And I'm going back to the actress. Okay, I'm going to get your name right. I promise you. Wumi Masako. I need to listen to the pronunciation of her name. But anyway, she talked about how she even is conscious of how she presents herself outside of her four walls. Like that's a prison. And what we see in the stiletto rape scene is Ruby exiting the prison, y'all. We see it. I know why the cage bird sings, okay? We see it. She was exiting that prison like she had to because, child, it's a lot to just not say anything your entire life. I'm getting so emotional. And not do anything your entire life. It's a lot. But that's what it's like for Black women. That's what it's like for Black women in many places, but especially in America. Because you understand. And it's kind of like for Montrose. He knows that his son could be killed at any moment. So he's trying to protect him. Like, I get it. Same thing with her. She knows she has to act a certain way because she's already being perceived to be some whole other way that she's not. It's just being projected on her. So, the liberation of that was just very visceral and very powerful. So the stiletto rape scene happened. If you watch the episode, then you already know she was white, but that was a spell, right? So spells wear off. And, she got a job in Marshall Fields, that coveted position. Well, she got the assistant manager position, y'all. She was giving poor Tamara a hard time, the Black lady that had got the job before her. But then she seen how the white people was, and so she was sick of that ass. And she was like, I can't do this no more. So she quit. But she quit and she raped the manager with a stiletto. Okay, just picture that. So that happened. That happened. And then what else happened? Tick and Letty became official, which I'm happy. I was waiting for them to have like some adult conversation. And I know relationships are tricky, and they talked a lot about like a lot of stuff that we're going to get into. But yeah, they finally sorted out their stuff as a unit. And I was very pleased about that. That was very grown of them to do. I'm trying to remember. Excuse me. What else happened? I'm not looking at my little Xfinity thing, y'all. I'm just going off the top of the dome. So much stuff happened. And then at the end, so much stuff happened. Watch the episode. And then at the end, Tick is on the phone with Miss South Korea because she knew what was going to happen if Tick went home. She told him apparently because he was like, he had decoded the alphabet, even though, without Macho's help, because he totally tried to just, thwart that effort. But anyways, he was like, how did you know? And he was crying and upset and emotional and snotting and all this stuff because he was a mess when he talked. He couldn't even speak to her before. We didn't know what was going on, but now we have an inkling, and we're gonna find out more about that in the next episode. So that's more or less like all the highlights. I'm sure I'm missing something. Y'all go back and y'all watch the episode. This was the best episode. You need to watch the episode anyway. Watch it. It was so good. Oh my God, it was so good. The best episode. The best episode. I'm kind of mad at Lovecraft because I'm even watching Power, and I'm a Power fan, but this show is so good. You know how you want to compare shows and you just can't do that? And it's making every other show that I watch seem like just not as good. But I'm a Power fan, so I'm sticking with Power, but I'm just kind of like, I can't. It's just hard. They're not in their same lanes. They're in different lanes. But that is what this show has done. It has just taken all the other shows and just kind of like lowered their little light a little bit, dimmed their little light a little bit. But anyways, okay, that's enough of the context. So let's get into the concepts. Okay, so first, concepts. First, we have trust. And I have Montrose. Oh my God. How can Montrose be trustworthy when he's not trusting? We find out that he is a possibly bisexual man. He probably just a gay man, but back in those times, I mean, even today, what am I talking about? I had to have a conversation with myself. I keep saying back in those times, like this S is not still, we're still dealing with the same S. We're still dealing with the same S. But you could be killed for being gay. You could be double, triple killed, homicided for being black and being gay, right? So there's that. Okay, how can he be trusting? We find that out. How can he be trusting? How can he be trusting? And really, the only thing you could trust a person to be is who they really are. And he is who he really is. So don't get mad at him when he goes and he slits people's throats and he does all this other stuff, because that's who he is. So there's that. And then I wanted to talk about that scene at, when Tick almost killed Montrose. Tick knows his daddy. Okay. He knows his daddy. So if my thing is, and I go back to trust, if you already knew him, why would you trust him? I keep going back to this. If somebody has hurt you repeatedly, they're going to keep hurting you. It's not like they're going to stop hurting you. That's what they do. So why would you expect for them to do something differently from that? Why would you expect that? Why would you expect that? So I didn't understand that. But I also have to understand from the human perspective that humans do this type of stuff all the time. We have these relationships with people that they have the title of mother, father, whatever, and we expect for them to live up to whatever we see in the movies. And honey, what you see in the movies ain't real. It ain't real, okay? You have to take your standards, values, and expectations and measure up the person to those things. Don't look to TV and movies and all this stuff for that, because, honey, you'll never find it. And you'll be mad as hell in the process. Learned that lesson. That was the first thing I had to do to, like, let go of stuff with my parents and just let. They haven't changed. They have not changed, but I have. You got to learn that too. And then you have to say to yourself, do I still want to be involved with so-and-so? And if so, how, right? Because you don't want to have yourself be repeatedly hurt or exposed to that person's toxicity. So Tick, he's not there yet, but maybe he'll get there. I don't know. It's a lot going on in his world. But that was my commentary on that. Okay, Tick and Letty, oh my God. I love them and I'm so here for them because I root for love. I really do. I want people to be happy. I want everybody to be happy, because if we were all happy, then there would be less miserableness and foolishness like what we see happening in this world. So, Chick and Letty, you know, that anger leads to sex and anger and all that stuff all mixed together, all together. You know, it's interesting how those we try to separate love and romance and that force and that all that anger, but honey, that stuff be mixed up in there together. So we saw that, but we also saw Letty know how to be just the right amount of comfort for Tick, and we saw Tick also receive that comfort and know how to receive it. So we got to see kind of like the symbiotic nature of their relationship and see how they're really um, at least trying to be each other's people, each other's person. And I think that that's important. Um, I I don't know if they are each other's person. They might be lessons learned for each other. Maybe this is a learning relationship. But I will say that I'm happy to see that they're trying. And that's good. I do wish that they would, and they did talk about feelings and emotions and like the reasons behind their actions in this episode, but I want them to like do more of that because they need to. If they're gonna have a chance with this relationship, they're really gonna need to, seriously. So there's that. And then we have um I wanted to speak about Will, and really Will is Christina. So Christina, I don't know if they're staying true in the book yet because we didn't learn about what's in the basement in the series, but I know what's in the basement in the book. So I'm not going to speak too much on that yet, but I'm going to talk about Christina. But she's Will. Um, I go back to that whole Invisible Woman thing from Black Lady Sketch Show. So outsiders sometimes seeing you while you're ignored. Sorry, I got a little, I don't know what this is. It got to go. While you're ignored by your own people. Um, so that, that being a thing and that being an issue. Uh, what can I say? What really can I say about that? It's just that it's interesting that Will and Ruby connected. And I do feel like, even though, you know, Christina is complicated, she really does see Ruby, though. She does. And she, as Will, as a man, she sees her. And I don't know that she's ever been seen before. And I think that that's a part of the reason why um, why Will is so alluring to her, is because she sees him, or he sees her. There is something very important about that. We all need that, want that. We don't all get it. And I'm going back to that invisible woman thing. I had referenced Michelle Obama and her experience with that too. It's incredible, you know, when you finally are seen by someone in that way. It's invigorating, especially if you've never had it before. So I thought that that was interesting as well. And then, okay, the most disgusting thing for me, and I'm gonna say it, yo, the whole metamorphosis thing with Ruby becoming what's the lady name? Hillary and all that stuff. I was fine with that. Them special effects was the baddest, by the way. They better get all the Emmys. They better get every Emmy. I don't care what other shows is coming out. I don't care. They better get all the Emmys. Anyways, the spittle. When Montrose was lubricating himself to make love to, I'm sorry, I don't know the barman's name. I forgot to even know his name. Is his name? I want to name his name is Sammy or something. Anyways, that was disgusting. That glot, y'all, like my gag reflex really just jerked back thinking about it. That was so disgusting. I understand the need for lubricant, but bruh, did it have to? Oh my God, that was horrible. Did it have to look like that? Oh, I feel it in my heart. Like that was disgusting. Okay. Y'all should see my note. It just says spittle. Like that's all I put. I didn't put nothing else. And I used the proper word. I didn't say spit. I said spittle. Cause that was spittle. Like it was just, disgusting. So that was that. That's all I want to say about that. Okay. Um, okay, now back to Montrose and this lover after that. Having someone who understands you flaws and all. Mm, I mean, here for it. We saw that in different ways. We saw that with Montrose and I want to say the man's name is Sammy, his lover. We saw that with Letty and Tick too, and Ruby and Christina. I'm just taking Will out of the equation because it's not Will, it's Christina. Ruby and Christina. Okay, okay. And I have this note further down because y'all know I'll be watching these episodes twice, but I'm gonna just say it here. Do y'all think Ruby and Christina are each other's people? I do. Now, Ruby might be shocked to realize that number one, she's a lesbian, and number two, that she is attracted to a white woman. But trust that there is something about the dynamic of their relationship. I think that they're each other's people, and that's gonna work out in a crazy kind of way. I think it's gonna work out for them. We will see, but I feel that they're each other's people. Christina is a lot of things. One of them is sincere. She's honest about what she wants. She's honest about what she don't want. She is self-serving too, but she's sincerely self-serving, and she really meant what she said. She really likes Ruby, like really likes her. And for Christina to like somebody, trust me, that takes a lot because that chick is all a lone wolf type of woman. She ain't here for no foolishness and nobody else but herself. So if she says that, I really am feeling you like that, then she really feeling you like that. And if she say something, that's what you mean. At least she honest. I respect the hell out of her. She honest. So yeah, there is that. And then what else? Inherent evil. I wanted to talk about that a little bit in terms of Letty, because Letty in the book is more of a holy roller than Letty in the series. But Letty in this particular episode was a little bit on the holy roller side of the spectrum. I was like, where does this come from? This holy roller. Letty in some of y'all probably don't know what a holy roller is. I don't even know. Let me not make assumptions and let me just explain that concept. A holy roller is like a super religious, like spiritual person. They're usually kind of low-key judgy and very much like, the church says this and the church says that. I don't know if holy roller is an expression that's used outside of the Black community. I recognize it as a Black thing, but it might be used outside of the Black community. I don't even know. But she definitely is a holy roller in the book. In the series, she's more of an open spirit type of person. But she definitely, I was like, ooh, she feel like Letty from the book. Was really trying to go back to what she knew and what was familiar. And we've seen her do that, but not to this degree. Like she was like, when Tick told her that Montrose because she didn't realize that Montrose had actually killed Yahima, or maybe killed her, because I still, like I said, this is TV. And I am not convinced that the people that have died have actually like fully died. I'm not. They waiting till the right episode to bring somebody back. Somebody got to come back. I'm sorry. I'm not fully invested in the deaths that we have seen of certain characters. But anyways, I low-key lost my train of thought there. But anyways, she was like really, really grappling with that. She was just like, dang, like, we going on all this quest and stuff, and this is really turning us into evil mofos. Like, I don't think we should be involved in this anymore. And it's not a bad argument, but the thing about it is, You can't stop it no way. So I mean, and they go keep coming for you. I'm with Tick. We gotta fight fire with fire. And he said something along the lines of, it's not evil, it's what you do with it. You know, like that's what makes it good or bad. And he's trying to protect them. He really is. So I'm Team Tick. Team Tick. So that's that. And I wanted to talk about outlets. I keep going back to this whole invisible women thing. And I really did feel like until the stiletto rape scene, ah, she got her outlet. But at first there were no outlets for her. She wasn't getting hers. It felt like everybody else in the episode, they had somebody that they could go to. Maybe they drank like Montrose, sex, something, something. But Ruby didn't have none until she raped her manager with the stiletto. Now, and also, my next, we talk about the currency of magic, which, oh God, 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 I freaking love Christina. Feel how you feel about her. But that woman speaks truth. Like the currency of magic and how that's real, actual currency. I mean, I live in a world where I'm a believer in karma, so I don't F with people. I just let them receive their karma. But I have witnessed a great deal of karma from people or towards people that have F with me in the past. I don't do it because I know that it'll come back on me, but my energy is set up in a way I've realized that if you do something to me, you're going to get it back. It comes back to everybody, but I mean, the way the karma be coming back to people is just real interesting. So I just let people do what they do. I have my little protection situation going on over here, and I keeps it moving. And I sit back with my popcorn and my wine. Okay, and my red stripe. So, magical currency, and this is the other thing too. We have so many everyday stressors like inequality, racism, and the whole Me Too. We saw the manager. Like what triggered the stiletto rape was a Me Too by her boss for poor Tamara. I feel so bad for her character. I mean, she really went through it. I mean, they need to give her I don't know what they need to give her. They need to give her a special award for playing such a difficult. I mean, she went through it. They had that woman going through a lot in this episode. But anyway, she got Me Too'd, and that was the final straw. Final straw for Ruby. Now Ruby was not very nice to her. She was very judgy, told that woman her hands were ashy. And if you're black, ash is a sin. That's ancestral across all diasporas. We don't play with ash. We scrub, we exfoliate, and we moisturize. We've been doing that before it was a thing, before everybody else knew about it. The oils and butters have been a part of it's ancestral. It's in our DNA. We don't play with ash. we don't do that because ash is not cute on darker complexions. And it just makes it, you look unkempt, and it makes it seem like you don't take care of yourself. So we don't do ash. We don't do ash. We don't do that. So anyways, that was shadeful. But, that was also a bit of her repentance because she had to work to her own emotions. And I told y'all, I asked y'all last time, I was like, is she going to really be able to handle all this? Because it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. Is she going to be able to handle all this power? Y'all don't know what I was talking about. I waited. But now y'all see. Is she, she did fairly well. I mean, but I'm going to need for her to get her stuff together, though, a little bit more. I really do. She needs to get it together. But she did fairly well with the handling. All right, let me get back on my topics here. Okay. Pent up emotion. I think we didn't address that. The emotion is not pent up no more. But Tick and Ruby. Those two. Oh my God. And you know what? Mine chose too, but his wasn't as explosive. He caused an explosive situation. But Tick and Ruby, oh, that was they were atomic bombs. Tick, tick. Boom, boom. Pent up emotion. So there's that. And then, what else happened in this episode? That I wanted to just touch on. You can't run away from who or what you are. I don't think I need to say anything else about that. But I will. There were so many examples of this. We saw that with Tick. Tick was like, I didn't know I was that angry until I went to the war. Bruh. You've been angry. I have been angry since I was a child. I've known about the anger. And because I found out about it when I was a little girl, I made a decision when I was a kid to control it. And I've done a very good job of it, actually. But that stuff still, you can't let that stuff stay. You got to let it out some kind of way. So I've had to, I use a lot of energy work and stuff like that, and practice a lot of wellness and stuff to keep that under control. But I'm dangerous, right? You got to take care of that stuff. You can't run away from who you are and what you are. Energy can be transmuted, though. Thank God for that. So if you're dealing with something, but like for whatever reason, it's not for you to just express it. Like, you're not trying to kill people, which is my case. Like, I had one moment where I put hands on somebody and I was like, I shouldn't do this no more. This is not a good look. Then, you need to figure that out and channel it. Channel it. That's a good word. Figure some way of channeling and get to channeling. Don't do that. Redirect the energy. So, who else? You can't run away from who or what you are. Christina too. Christina as well. So it's interesting because she's going through all of this to surpass the limitations that she has as a woman in the society. And, we're going to see if it really works for her, because she is actually a woman and society is actually set up the way that it is. So I think that's going to be some of her karma, is her realizing that, she might not be able to escape being a woman in the society that she lives in this time period that she lives in. And I keep talking about stuff like it's in the past. No, this stuff is still happening. So she can't escape being a woman. It is what it is. So that's going to be interesting. Who else? I was trying to think of somebody else. Machos, of course. There's that. That was a big one. And him coming to terms with who he is instead of trying to run away from it. So you can't run away from who you are or what you are. And the what? What? We're going to find out what when we get to the next episode and talk about Miss South Korea. What are you? She's going to have some information. Prediction. I just now thought about this. She already knows about Tick. She knew about him. I'm positive she going to have some information about him because, they trying to control him. I'm talking about the white people. They trying to control him. They're not trying to empower him or inform him. So, but he's doing that on his own. Typical Black excellence move. Instead of allowing folks to dictate to you who and what you can be, you go out and you figure it out and you make up your own rules and he's doing it and play at the game the best way you can with the tools that you are able to cultivate within yourself and around you. He's doing that, but she gonna help him whether she wants to or not. And my thing about her is, okay, we getting into Miss South Korea a little bit. I suspect that, she told him a little bit, but she told him out of love because she wanted to protect him from that. But the thing about this type of thing is this is destiny, and you can't protect nobody from their destiny because that's what's meant. So, that's about to be what it's going to be. But that's my little commentary on that. Love in its many forms. Okay. We saw all kinds of love. Oh my God. All kinds of love. Let's talk about the white privilege for a moment. For colored girls who what for colored girls, okay? The poem that was that well, I don't be knowing the proper terms. That was in the backdrop or whatever you want to call it, during Ruby's Hillary scene, right? I'm specifically thinking about when she went to the ice cream parlor to go pay for her little ice cream, and that man would not let her pay. She got her little ice cream for free, right? I mean, I even just saw a demonstration of that in another series that I'm watching. I think it's Little Fires Everywhere. Have y'all seen that? It's really good. It's on Hulu, and it's also a book that I have on my Audible. I'm gonna listen to it. But anyways, in that, it just like one of the characters, like two of the characters, the same thing happened. One was an immigrant, a Chinese immigrant, and one was a white girl. And the Chinese immigrant got yelled at and told to get the F out the store. And the little white girl, she was able to just get on the bus for free, basically. And it was just like, okay, there you go, privilege. Um, I remember what my original commentary was. If you're struggling with this and like understanding what that means, because I know like for a lot of people, we don't realize how privileged we are. I'm privileged as an American. Like I am. I might be black, which means like I'm last class citizen in this country, but I'm still American. So globally speaking, I'm privileged. Black people, you need to know that too. You travel. That's all I got to say. Get out and see some things. But anyways, it was just, they did a really good job of showing privilege and what it's like, and just the whole juxtaposition and comparing and contrasting. I think that was very helpful for people to see who really don't have a concept or a contextualization of that. Like, I hope that helps you guys. I really do. They did a really good job with that. and I have different privileges on here. We have divine privilege. Okay. I am privileged because I'm an American. I'm also divinely privileged, right? We see that with Christina. Who knows it? Because we all are divinely privileged, but if you don't know it, then, I mean, why would you rely on that? So that's a little lesson for y'all too. And Christina had to tell Ruby that. She was like, sis, guess what? You're divinely privileged. She didn't say it like that, but that's what she meant. You are divinely privileged. That's the thing that we all have that. And that privilege trumps, like Christina said, that trumps everything. When you understand that and you know how to utilize that, the rest of the stuff becomes child's play. Okay? So I go back to that whole letting people get in their karma and stuff, because I understand the way that things work from a divine perspective. I just let them have it. And I'm telling you too, honey, get yours. Use this energy work and whatnot to get yours, and leave the rest. Trust me, don't even worry about it. Divine privilege, male privilege, okay? You know, we saw that too. The police, what is that? The lodge with the police, the good old boys club, and like, you know, we have this air of this is ours. We get to take what's ours, even though it's not ours really, and all this type of stuff. That, I mean, the ability to be able to do that and walk and move and operate in that way. We also saw that with the manager who got stiletto raped at the end of towards the end of the episode. You know, just, you know, I'm just gonna take this from you. No. We're things are changing. We're no longer allowing you to just come up here and take like that. But that, okay, that. And then what else? I put here adults are idiots. Adults are idiots. Adults are idiots. That came to me too. I think a part of the reason why I made that note was just how is everybody dealing with everything. I mean, I just wish we could work through ourselves better. we're not set up societally to know how to deal with stuff. We don't get taught that, and that's something that we need to learn how to do. But I mean, we first of all, Lovecraft wouldn't exist if adults weren't idiots. So there is that. We wouldn't have as much juice to talk about because it just wouldn't be right. But I think about Montrose, just letting and just all these emotions and stuff. We need to do better. We really do. And we see that in the real world too. Adults are idiots. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Next, Christina and Will. Okay, let's talk about that. So Christina is Will, right? The thing that I love that both actors are doing is they have this air of matter of factness about them. You know it's the same person if you was paying attention to that. I wasn't. I just thought they were very similar, but I didn't think that they were the same person. I just thought that they were both very similar. But the thing about it is, even though Christina's physical appearance changed, she didn't actually change her personality. And I thought that was dope. The way these actors, like, they have this air about them that lets you know that it's the same person. Really, I'm the same person, just in a different body. So that was interesting. I wanted to touch on that. Okay. Ooh. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about Tick, because Tick was talking about he didn't find that anger into the war. Okay, the war was probably a trigger. Different environments and situations trigger stuff. But I think he had said something that it made it sound like he was saying he wasn't this angry into the war or something like that. But my whole thing is, bruh, that anger is a known type of anger if you're paying attention. Like, I figured that out when I was a kid. I was like, oh God, like, I can't. I can never, ever allow myself to get that angry again. Ever. Because I could have killed somebody by now. That is such a dangerous thing. And it's just like, typically you know that it's there because it's a lurk. It's a lurk. And that's why we see so many people with like dependencies and stuff like that. If they don't know how to take care of themselves, it just stays. So, we know what happened. I mean, to his childhood, Montrose was his daddy. That's what happened. And if you read the book, then you understand Montrose even more. So, like, I get it. But he had said something that made it seem like he basically was like, the war did this. No, baby. No, baby. No. Energy meets energy. That war was brewing inside of you before you entered into the actual war. Fact. Okay? So there is that. I wanted to talk about how Ruby's for Colored Girls scene, I keep going back to that scene, but how it felt like self-care Sundays. Didn't I just feel like a day of yoga and like wine and cannabis if you indulge? That's what it felt like to me. I was just like, oh, it just felt like self-care Sundays. I thought that was also very interesting. How, for her, the removal of the gaze, like, oh my God. And I talked about the gaze before. Just not having to deal with that evil eye is such a thing. Like, oh my God. Ooh, I felt the relief and the release through the TV screen. Or I'm on the computer. Through the computer screen. So that was just so wonderful. Christina was the Decepticon. We had Decepticons last episode. She was the Queen Decepticon in this episode. Ciao. Like I said, did not expect her to be Will, but okay. Then the traumatic perspective, we saw that through Tick and Ruby. I told you about their explosiveness. I mean, trauma. And just, I want to say shout out to the writers for portraying their trauma in a way that wasn't negative, because you were allowed to experience it and witness it for what it was and nothing else. And we don't want to express our trauma. We don't want to deal with it because we're afraid of it or because we view it as a negative. And that's not a good thing. It's not. It's trauma, period. I wish it needs to be cared for. It's not something that should just be pushed back aside. And I think that Black people, because we've experienced so much trauma, we're so used to the pushing down and keeping in. We don't do therapy and all this type of stuff. Like that whole bit about that's changing now. But historically, like, we don't do therapy. We don't go, no, we don't kumbaya and all. No. That's changing, thank God. But like that, I just thought they did a really beautiful job of just letting people be in their trauma and the righteousness of it. Because it's a righteous thing to be somebody's ASS. It's righteous. Now, I don't want to do it because I don't want to hurt myself and I don't want to go to jail. And I just don't have time. I'd rather use my energy in other ways. And I've learned how to work through my own stuff. But everybody else, not everybody's me. Some people, they can't manipulate the energy. They got to go out and be somebody's ASS. That is therapeutic. I get it. But, I'm going to just leave it at that. I'm trying not to do the whole thing where we're judgy and all that. I'm trying not to, because I feel myself wanting to a little bit. And that's not my intention. It is what it is. So there's that. What else happened? I mean, so much stuff happened in this episode. My gosh. Okay. So let me tell you something. One thing that really irked me, Ruby's qualifications being enough because she was white, right? She gave that man that same piece of paper. She ain't changed nothing. Same piece of paper. These are my qualifications. But she got the job. Not because she was qualified, but because she was white. That stung. I was just like, now that's some S, but that's some typical S. It is what it is. I just wanted to touch on that. I was just like, really? Really? Okay. Same person. And I'm going to bring this up too now too, because I have it down at the bottom here, but I want to bring this up too. So in reference to Ruby and the manager in the stiletto rape scene, right? So yeah. That man subconsciously knew that Ruby was Ruby and not Hillary. Because I promise you, he wasn't checking for none of them other white women because they were white. And he understood that there is an energetic and a power dynamic that goes on. And he understands his role within his own hierarchical system. He don't got played. He don't got plugged like that. They called him the Norman Rockwell painting. The other women, they just laughed. It was like, I don't even remember his name. Bye getting fresh with us. No, he's a husband with 2 kids and he's a Norman Rockwell painting. No. But he was a little flirtatious with Hillary as Ruby. He sensed it subconsciously that he could do that because she was Black. I wanted to touch on that. I thought that was interesting. And the thing is too, that Ruby knew. She sensed it too. She knew that he was that way. But she didn't put 2 and 2 together that it was a Black woman thing until she spoke to the white women. She thought it was just a white. No, she realized, because she thought it was her privilege or something. No. She realized, he likes dark meat. Can't have none, won't ever get none. But that's what he likes. Right? So that was really interesting. Okay. Now, the other thing that, oh my God, I mean, there was so much stuff. I also wanted to note, okay, y'all know the scene when they was all getting off work, and Will he had the car parked out in front of that billboard that was the Wrigley's billboard that had, you know, its own little distinction going on. Y'all know how they use billboards in the series. But anyways, that scene, Tamara's face, oh my God, like I get so emotional because I just, certain things I just really feel. She looked so deflated at the end of that shift. Did y'all see that? How tired and just deflated she looked. Can you imagine getting something that you want? And I have experienced this. Getting something that you wanted. And even for her, it was on a whim, but she still wanted it. You know, having something that you hope would be a certain way, and then you're getting it, and it turns out to be complete garbage. I felt so bad for her character. I felt so bad for her character this episode. Like, it was just really sad to see her with that deflated face that during that scene, in that scene. So I wanted to talk about that. And then that leads me into interlopers and people needing a break in Sanctuary. So fast forward to the part where they're all Ruby as I can't get people's names right. Ruby as, is her name Hillary? Ruby's white counterpart person. Anyways, I think it's Hillary. They have her they have Tamara take them, meaning the white people at the job, to the south side to the club. And they're not, and you know, this whole concept of people need a break, okay? And this whole concept of Sanctuary and these interlopers just coming up in there. I mean, did y'all see the looks they was getting? And the undermouth, under your mouth? Like, I was just like, they did such a good job with that. And that just speaks to the messiness of race relations and integration and the continued messiness and just how it just continues to be a freaking mess. Like, oh my God, but this was like more at the beginning of it. Can you imagine? Oh God, so messy, so messy. I do want to say shout out to all of the white actors in this series because y'all are playing some awful characters. Every last one of y'all is horrible. You guys are doing such a good job. Like, everybody needs an Emmy. Everybody needs an Emmy. Shout them out. And then, what else? I wanted to just also say, going back to Tick and Letty now for a second, honesty. That was something we saw. I needed for them to get to that point where they were having those conversations. So I just wanted to say, like, I just thought that it's so beautiful to see them get to that level of comfort. They probably have never had that level of comfort with anybody in their lives. So to see them get there, that was beautiful. And we also see honesty in different ways. We see Ruby being honest probably for the first time in her life. And Ruby was already, you know what? She was true, but she wasn't necessarily honest. Now she's honest. And people don't like Christina because she is too honest. But guess what? That's because most of us be sitting up here lying. You lies. Lying in different ways. Hiding different parts of ourselves, concealing different parts of ourselves. And you know what? I'm not even going to sit up here and judge. We all do it. We have to survive in this world. But yo, when you can just be free of that, I mean, what's possible? You get to be uninterrupted the way Ruby is discovering. And that is powerful. Okay. Then what else? I also wanted to go back. So Tick and Letty talked about examples of love. This is my last concept, by the way. Tick and Letty talk about examples of love. And Tick talks about how his parents' love was enduring, but he said not normal. I thought that was interesting. So that makes me wonder if he had an inkling about Montrose, but he just didn't know. You know, he wasn't quite sure, but he already low-key knew because it was offish back then. Like he said it was not normal. And then Letty and Ruby's mom being, having bad luck with love, and how, I wanted to speak on how those types of patterns bring up psychic barriers in your kids, the offspring. And then we put those up to protect ourselves because we don't want to attract that same BS. We don't even know which BS we not trying to attract, but we know it's something that we don't want to attract, right? So there's that. I thought that was interesting because Letty and Tick had those psychic barriers up at first towards each other because they were like, like, I'm not trying to deal with this, this BS. But they let all that stuff down in this episode. So that was good. Excuse me, y'all. I had some congestion going on. Anyways, because I really was getting emotional a little bit. Let's get into the favorite scene. And this, usually I have 2 things noted. But in this episode, y'all, I have noted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, this episode was so loaded and so good. So, when Ruby said they weren't scared of me, they were scared for me. Ruby gets the Baddie Awards because she was dropping lines. She dropped the most lines, okay? Tick and Letty love sing. It goes without saying. Oh, so beautiful. And the way they shot it, like the dark silhouette, like that was beautiful. I enjoyed my entire day using the only currency that I needed, whiteness. Okay, Ruby again. Ruby. Montrose at the ball. Okay, them carrying him over their heads. Like, I was here for it. Oh, and him finally giving his boo a real kiss, a proper kiss. Of course, the stiletto rape scene. I wanted you to know. Yes, I wanted you to know. Yes. And Christina giving Ruby the courage to be like, look, you misunderstood the blessing of this here gift that you have been given. You thought this was just so you could be white, honey? That's what you thought? How about this? How about you get to do whatever you want to do? How about that, hunty? That I loved it. That's why I love Christina. And then, yeah, I can't wait to see more Tick in Miss South Korea because every time he gets on the phone with this woman, it is a thing for this man. Oh my God. Ooh, his emotions. I want to know more about the actor. I'm sorry, I don't know nobody's name, and I can't. I'm not stopping to look and be checking. But I want to know more. Like, what was his life like? Because he is pulling from some materials, honey. Ooh, child. So there was that. Okay. What else? Now predictions. Okay, because I got predictions. So we'll find out more about those Epstein doorways. That's in the book that was mentioned in this episode. We're gonna find out more about those. Also, this is series specific. I already said this, but Christina and Ruby are going to be a thing. Okay, I already said that they're going to be a thing. Done. Tick is going to have more dreams. We've already seen 2 of his dreams. I think he's going to have more, and I think that they're going to have more significance to him and start to make more sense to him as well as the series progresses. So given like the patterning with these dreams and stuff in the series, we might get 1 or 2 more dreams from him. But I think that they'll be significant. And then what else? Hannah is going to have a bigger role to play in the series. Okay. Listen, let me tell you something. She got the book of names. Right? We've known, actually, I'm not sure if you guys realize that or if I even said that to you before, but I knew that from, what was that, episode 2? Like, I knew that that's what that was. Anyways, she got the book of names. And if they really want the book of names, who who you think they got to get it from? And now, if you're thinking logically, if I was Hannah, if I was the spirit or ghost of Hannah, who would I give it to? You think I would give it to a Braithwaite? Are you kidding me? I'll give it to my progeny. I'm not bleeping with these other mofos over here that did me dirty, that raped me, enslaved me, and almost tried to burn me. What? They don't get this. This ain't for them. So who do you think she is inclined to give it to? So there is that. Okay. She got the book of names. Now. Ooh. Okay. So in the series, this is a prediction. In the book, there was a little octopus. Because I was trying to figure out which Lovecraftian monster Gia is. There was an octopus in the book. So I'm wondering if she's going to be this octopus character in the series. Because if you look at the artwork, like that main artwork that I use in the videos, it's Letty, Tick, and the octopus. And the octopus is in the book, but we ain't seen the octopus all series. So I'm wondering if that's going to be her. All right. So there's that. And then because Hannah is actually dead, well, that doesn't mean anything because these people deal with life magic. But they got somebody that can deal with death too. Are they going to use a little necromancy to get the book? I'm wondering because she has the book. She has the book, and it might not even be her. Like I said, these people are not really dead. What's the native woman's name? Why I can't remember her name? I've been recalling Yahima. What about her? Low key, like she was sitting there for 100 years chilling. So I don't think she's as easy to kill as that. So yeah, some form of necromancy might come into play later. So those are my predictions. Now questions. Do you think magic is the same as science? What y'all think about that? Because I think it is. But what do y'all think about that? Now, I'm laughing at this question because I feel a way. Y'all seen how Ruby goes to said this disgraceful, disrespectful A place to get a job. They done told the woman no. They told the woman no, she can't work here. And she go get a job there anyway. Would you go do that? I would not. I would not. You know what I would do? I would magic up their competition and I would take all their customers. Oh, I would do something like that. But, it wouldn't be in a bad karma kind of way, but it would be in a, I'm a strong competitor, but you are losing customers. And I would be Black people friendly on top of that. And you know what? I would be making money hand over fist. That's the way I operate, by the way. I do stuff like that. Not out of spite. I'll pray for something in alignment with the highest good of myself and all parties involved. But you gonna leave me the hell alone. And I'm gonna get my justice. How I get it. Trust. So like I said, I let people be. I do, but I also make sure that I get what I need. If that makes sense. I would do something like that. I wouldn't pray for their building to be burnt down. I wouldn't pray for them to be destitute or nothing like that. But they would be losing money. They would be losing money. That's how I operate. So that's that. Now, Black people, in terms of integration, because this episode really touched on integration and the problems that we've had with it. Sorry, I'm still snotting, but it is what it is. Excuse the snotting. Do you think we played ourselves? I've heard people say over the years that integration was not the best thing for Black people. And I don't think that it's a bad argument. I don't know that I completely agree with it either. But did we play ourselves though? Because I mean, look at what has happened, what has transpired. Did we play ourselves? And even like the manager in Marshall Fields, he was like, we're not really for integration, but we want their money. I mean, what kind of S is that? Did we play ourselves? In some ways, I feel like we were better off before. I'm gonna just say it. I do. So there is that. And then what else? What else happened? Okay, again, can Ruby handle it? We gonna see. She needs to get it together a little bit more, but we gonna see. And this is the question for you. Who are you really uninterrupted? Take out your little journals, boys and girls, and journal on that. So there's that. Tick. When Tick was beating his daddy, what would you have done? Letty did the right thing. I do agree. She did the right thing. But I'm just curious to know, like, what would you have done? Black people, would you have taken the potion, the Hillary potion? I would have. I would have. But would you? Curious to know about that. And what would you have done? What would you have done? Let's talk about that. What would you have done? So there's that. And then also, here's a backstory. So Christina been Will this whole time. Christina's daddy was a lot of things. I would even say ignorant. But he was not stupid. He was not a stupid man. He didn't know about Will. Really? I was like, you didn't know about Will this whole time? Are you serious? You did not know about Will? Christina's a smooth criminal. That was more of a reaction question, but that was a question. Okay. And then what else? I know what's in the basement, but do you know what's in the basement? And also, side note, if you read the book, do you think they remain true to the book? And what's in the basement is also in the book is what's also going to be in the basement in this series. That's going to be interesting to see because they might have changed it, but I know what's in the basement in the book. And if they stick with this whole gruesome thing, which I mean it's horror, so why wouldn't it be gruesome? That's probably gonna be some interesting stuff to see. Get ready for some special effects, most likely. Okay, and then what else? Tick. I said this already. Did Tick really know that his dad was gay this whole time, or did he know that he was fluid this whole time? And I think maybe in the last episode it kind of dawned on him, but he had sensed it. I'm low key because they never really talked about it, but you can see like the synapses firing off in his brain. Okay, so that's that for the questions. Let me look at this other stuff because I really honey, I be doing this stuff and then I be forgetting some stuff sometimes. Okay, we good. I was like, let me make sure I got all my tidbits together. So first of all, FYI, y'all know I be talking about the actual magic behind stuff. That's my commentary and how my stuff is a little different from everybody else's because I don't know about other people. Let me not assume, but my assumption is that these most of the commentators don't actually practice energy work or practice magic, so they don't actually know about this stuff, but I do. So blood magic is what was used in the book and in the series. They remain true to that. And blood magic is some of the most powerful as you ever want to deal with. And yes, you do have to be careful because blood is blood. You got to protect yourself. We can't be dealing with that. And it can be difficult. I'm not going to go into details because this is not really like it's beyond the scope of this episode. But I'm going to say this to you. It takes a lot of energy to create stuff and to manifest stuff. And if you want to manifest something, then you need to use something strong to do it. Okay. And blood is one of those things. All right, I'm gonna just leave that at that. If you want to look into that, I love Stargirl, the Practical Witch. She's done a blood magic situation before. Maybe look for Stargirl, the Practical Witch, blood magic. I think you can find something from her. Like I said, it's an interesting fluid to deal with for obvious reasons. But one thing that I had to do, being a magician, a witch, whatever you want to call me, is to become more comfortable with some things, some gross things, because the stuff works. It works. Okay? It works. And you don't have to just use blood. You can use, blood is super powerful, but if you want to use like hair, we see spit being used, like other things with like the DNA, that energy is very powerful. Okay, so there's that. And then what else? I wanted to talk about Tamara. Is it Tamara or Tamara? I don't know the child's name. Tamara. I'm gonna go with Tamara. That don't feel right. Tamara. Tamara. Okay, y'all know who I'm talking about. She this feeling of feeling like you are enough. That is magic too. We underestimate the power of confidence. She went into that establishment on a whim, right? Saying that I want this job. She didn't spend years and years trying to qualify herself to get it the way Ruby did, because Ruby never felt like she was enough to get the job in the first place. Tamara didn't have all that going on, okay? That's how she got that job. Confidence. You want to attract something in your life? Be confident about it. It don't matter if you qualify. Look at the president. That man is overflowing with confidence. I'm going to tell you something. You may not like him, but when it comes to confidence, he is one of the best vessels of confidence I have ever seen in my life. He has an incredible amount of confidence. He does. He's also deeply insecure. But though it's interesting because those two things can coexist in the same body vessel. Our bodies are vessels of energy, right? So he's able to do all of that and do what he can. He just has it. He just has it. And he is working it, and it is working for him. Okay? In a way, it is. Feel how you feel about that. But what I'm saying to you from the energetic perspective is this. Confidence is a very, very powerful energy, and you can use it to your advantage. So there's that. Ruby, I want to talk a little bit too. Her belief that whiteness was currency. So she was able to use that to get that free ice cream at the ice cream parlor, right? She really believed it. She was like, I didn't need nothing else. She has believed that her entire life. She believed strongly in that. Did you see that them other white women that was in the ice cream parlor had to pay for their money, had to pay for their ice cream? They wasn't getting ice cream for free. She got ice cream for free. You see what I mean? Because even to her, like, she felt like she was entitled enough. They probably are used to it. And sometimes this is what happens when you get used to your power. Like, you don't even realize how much power you actually have. She knows. She wasn't taking it for granted. So that's something else for you to think about. You have power within yourself. Don't take that itch for granted. Do not take that itch for granted. Make sure that you use your power to do all the things that you want to do in your life and accomplish what you want to. That belief, self-belief, is so important. That's that. The last little tidbit is that, the year that this series takes place is also the year that stilettos were created. I found that out. I thought that was interesting. So it was very appropriate for them to use the stiletto the way that they did in this episode. The writers are so creative. Shout out to the writers. Shout them out. So, okay, you guys, that's it for this episode. I know I had forgot something and now I remember what it was. You guys, so much stuff happened. Oh my God, this particular fandom is about to be 2 hours probably. Thank you so much for listening. Let me know, who are you interrupted? Okay? Who are you interrupted? Y'all know I like emojis. You could just, if you don't feel like answering the question, just leave me with a little stiletto emoji below. comment. I mean, I know y'all got something to say about this episode. Thank you so much. Like and subscribe. There is more to come. I already know which series I'm going to be doing next, and I'm so excited. I'll announce that. Actually, I'm looking at the calendar. Shoot, probably next week. But anyways, stay tuned and yeah, stay blessed, not stressed. You are loved. I'll see you next time. Bye.